Hi, it's Peder Stokke again. In this module, Bodil Bach and I will share our knowledge together. The topic of this telemedicine course are do's and don'ts in use of video. Most of this module can be used in all kinds of contexts where video communication is used. After attending this course, you will be able to demonstrate knowledge and have an understanding on how to best use video communication. Table of contents is general use of video, smart tricks when you're on the screen, video consultations with patient with preparation and good advice for implementation, and what can go wrong. When you talk to a patient or colleague you meet physically, it is only up to the room you're in that determines how well you communicate. But using video brings in one element that gives you a limited framework of possibilities. As video today can only be sent in 2D format, i.e. on a flat screen. Therefore, it is very important to make sure that what you show of yourself and what you are going to show the patient and your colleagues is done in the most optimal way possible, so that you get a common understanding of the situation, as well as little misunderstandings as possible arise as a result of using video. In this chapter of this course, I will show you what you should generally do and not do in video calls. A little later on in this module, we'll go more into treatment situations. How many video meetings have you been involved in where one or more participants are not visible or are partly in the picture, or where it is difficult to see persons because the light is too bright or too dim, or simply the light is coming from a wrong direction? Unfortunately, few people think about how they look to the other participant in videos. Think about how the person you are talking with will like to see you, so that you can have a good conversation. Here are some illustrations of what we consider to be good and bad placements of yourself in the video image. If you put yourself in the center of the image and the whole head is shown, that's good. Not so good is sitting low in the image with too much air above your head. It looks like you might be sliding off your chair or is perhaps about to going asleep. Sitting on one side but not outside the frame is good. Perhaps one of the best image placements. You are in what we call the golden section, and also called the rule of thirds in the film industry. This is perhaps the worst thing to do. You're cutting yourself. This quickly irritates the person who is in the conversation with you, as the focus on you being cut becomes the focus of the other person's train of thoughts. Like the third picture, this is good. Just remember to look towards the camera. You're sitting too far away to have a serious conversation. Zoom in or get closer to the camera. Remember, this is also applies where several people are present. Incorrect framing and display creates both conscious and unconscious irritation among viewers, which in turn lead to the conversation not being as good as it should be. Contrasts is also important to think about. Unfortunately, there's more to keep in mind with video calls. Wear clothes that contrast with your background. Light. Avoid backlight, which can cause your camera to show you only as a silhouette if you're sitting with a window behind you. Close the curtain. It's as easy as that. More light. Avoid bright light from one side or directly above you. It creates shadows that make it difficult to see you. If you can avoid it, set up a light in front and that can reduce the dark shadows. Pattern clothes. Our digital world is made up of rows and columns. Laying several rows and columns on top of each other, and that creates new patterns known as grids, and it makes movements. This can disturb the image and take the focus away from you as a person. Therefore, do not wear checkered or striped clothes in video calls if it can be avoided. Disruptions. Avoid conducting a video call if possible where you have a wall with a lot of patterns behind you, where there is a lot of activity going on in the background, and where others can come into the picture and being a part of the conversation. All this quickly draws the focus away from the conversation. Over to audio. When it comes to sound, there are also some things to consider. Avoid outside noise, for example from open windows. You never know when your neighbor will start your lawnmower on the other side of the hedge, or so close the window. Another thing about sound is that it bounces back and forth, and we hear that too well. We call it echo. Echo of yourself in a conversation is problematic for a good conversation. Therefore, avoid rooms with smooth, hard walls and floors. Carpets and curtains can help in some rooms. Other rooms need to be refitted with their noise reduction ceiling or wall paneling. The most important thing is that you are visible to each other when using video as a communication tool. Now over to Bodil.
Peder has now gone through the general use of video and audio. This will apply in almost all situations where you are conducting a patient consultation. However, in some conversations with other healthcare professionals, there may be other things that you should also consider in a video call to make it successfully. However, in some conversations with other healthcare professionals, there may be other things that you should also consider in a video call to make it successfully. Here are some examples from my checklist. First, when hospitals and others offer video consultations, they usually have information about it on their websites or in a brochure. What is a video consultation? How does it work? And what do you as a patient need to do in order to participate? The health secretary or therapist has booked the consultations under current rules in your organization. Always ask for consent to use video if the patient is conscious and able to consent. If the patient consents, use video. If not, do what you otherwise had to do to complete the patient treatment. If the patient is not able to provide consent, an agreement with a guardian is arranged. And in some acute situations with patients who are not conscious, healthcare is necessary and consultation is required. If others, for instance relatives, are participating, this is agreed in advance or at the start of the conversation. It's important to clarify what information can be shared. For you as a therapist, make sure of something. Have an available mobile phone, tablet, laptop or meeting room device, which is connected to internet, of course. Available stable internet connection, wired is recommended, or Wi-Fi. If you use mobile units, available accessories like camera and microphone are recommended. If you use meeting room devices, you don't need additional equipment. And next, always take a test in the front of the consultation. It's very needed. Plan your seating position, check the camera and microphone placement to ensure good quality. Take a privacy checkup, which Peder was talking about earlier. Are there others in the room or nearby, like staff, students and family members that the camera does not capture? Is there visibility for others in the room? Can the sound be heard by others? Make sure the light in the room is good. Room lighting works best actually, not daylight from window. Check noise conditions from rooms or neighboring rooms. Is there any fan noise? Does the sound through the walls, etc.? Check noise conditions from rooms or neighboring rooms. Is there any fan noise? Does the sound through the walls, etc.? To improve the quality of the video consultation, close all programs on your computer. If you need help, ask the department supervisor. Now we are to the real startup of the consultation. And again, check sound and video. Keep your phone handy in case of connection problems so you can be reached if the video calls is interrupted. Make sure that the unauthorized persons do not see and hear the conversation. And then, you as a therapist opens the meeting room. Checklist setup for therapists can be useful for you and summarizing what we talked about. Start with a presentation of everyone in the room on both sides and ask some questions. Is sound and video okay? Is your mobile phone set on silent and nearby? Are those around you at home informed that the consultation is starting? If the patient do not want family members or others to participate, this is clarified in advance or now at the startup. Remind the patient of the information sent in advance. Is there access or can audio be heard from unauthorized persons? Where are the patients? At the home address or another address? When you're not with the patients in the same room, it's okay to know for safety reasons. And do you have an alternate phone number for someone nearby if something is going to happen?
Filming wounds, injuries and surroundings can be important in certain situations. Avoid filming intimate zones and body parts that have nothing to do with the treatment itself. Avoid filming surroundings if it's not relevant to the treatment and the patient do not consent to it. Avoid filming others who are present, but in an acute situations this can be discarded. People who visit accident sites as bystanders cannot demand not to be filmed. They can simply leave the area if there is a problem. At accident sites and at homes, it may in certain situations be important for the decision support to be able to see the site. For example, where the patient fell, how much G-force should have been in play, etc.
When the video consultation is finished, make a new booking if necessary, release the patient from the consultation room, and register the video consultation in the patient journal to register activity with tariff, and some places also for activity registration.
With digital solutions, there are many components in play at the same time. This is set up to fail. I started a list of things that can go wrong in video calls a while ago, called it 10 things that can go wrong in video conversations. Today it's over 50 things on that list, and it's still getting longer. Here are some you should be mentioned and considered. User has not familiarized themselves with the use of the equipment. The data quota on the 4G is exhausted. The image is chopped due to poor transmission speed. The room is not suitable for video calls, concrete walls or no carpets or drapings. The other party's expertise in the use of video conferencing is insufficient. Failure due to no updated device. What you should have done earlier is not done. The lid in front of the camera is not pushed aside, typically with the use of laptops. Microphone is constantly muted, or the user have not the knowledge to mute at all. Empty battery. Remember, video apps use more battery than most other apps. But everything can work if you are prepared. Learn how to use the solutions and be prepared for things that can go wrong, because they will. We hope this module gave you smart tips for using video in general and in medical situations. Thank you.